Hello again! Bora para a segunda parte do nosso teste de Listening in English. Nesse vídeo, nós vamos testar a sua compreensão auditiva em inglês nos níveis intermediário até o mais avançado. Let's go! Vamos lembrar bem rapidinho os níveis de inglês antes da gente começar? Se você tá chegando de paraquedas aqui, deixa eu te situar. Primeiro, já te inscreve aqui no canal, né? Segundo, dá uma olhadinha no primeiro vídeo que eu já fiz, com teste de listening em inglês. Eu vou deixar num cardzinho e vou deixar o link aqui na descrição desse vídeo também. Como eu disse lá naquele vídeo, nós podemos utilizar a classificação do CFR, que é o Quadro Comum Europeu de Referência para Idiomas, para nivelar idiomas em 6 níveis. A1 e A2, que são os níveis básicos, B1 e B2, que são os níveis intermediários, e C1 e C2, que são os níveis avançados e proficientes. No vídeo anterior, a gente fez o teste de listening para A1, A2 e B1. E no vídeo de hoje, nós vamos dar continuidade, testando níveis B2, C1 e C2. E esses níveis englobam pré-avançado, avançado e proficiente. Lembrando que o teste vai funcionar da seguinte maneira. Nós vamos ouvir juntos um áudio ou assistir um vídeo. E depois eu vou te fazer algumas perguntas. Se você acertar tudo, quase tudo, quer dizer que você está confortável naquele nível ali que a gente está testando, naquele momento. E aí, assim, você pode passar para o próximo teste, para ver como é que tá mesmo, sabe? E se você não acertar, tá tudo bem, tá? Significa só que você precisa trabalhar um pouquinho mais ali naquele nível. E eu quero frisar uma coisa muito, muito, muito importante. Gente, esse é um teste informal, tá? Por favor. Teste informal para testar somente uma habilidade, que é o listening, que é o ouvir inglês. E é super comum as pessoas terem níveis diferentes. Um nível para listening, outro para speaking, outro para reading e outro para writing. Quem nunca disse algo do tipo,
Ai, eu consigo entender inglês. Meu problema é falar.
é a frase que eu mais escuto, gente. É essa. E isso demonstra que a gente aprende habilidades diferentes, de maneiras e velocidades diferentes. E é super importante que a gente saiba quais são nossos pontos fortes e nossos pontos fracos. Porque assim a gente consegue seguir evoluindo. Let's start then. Como na parte 1 eu retirei esse material de um site chamado testenglish.com. E eu vou deixar o link aqui na descrição como referência, ele é maravilhoso. Vamos começar com um vídeo sobre como sobreviver na selva. Pois é. Então presta bastante atenção aqui que depois eu mando as perguntas.
In the tropics, night falls rapidly. You need to be looking for a place to camp by mid-afternoon, because you've got to build a shelter up off the forest floor to get away from the ants.
What I'm looking for in a campsite, 2 strong trees that I can string my hammock to, a nice clear area around me so I don't have to worry about so many insects and I don't have to worry about the critters getting too close to me. And another key thing is I'm close to the river, but also I don't want to be too close to the river, so if it pours down rain in the middle of the night, I don't wake up in the river. So this is where I'm going to make my home for the evening. Right now I'm just making some notches in the tree so that it'll secure my hammock and I don't have to worry about it sliding down on me in the middle of the night. You want to get it so that it's about chest high, because once you get in it, it's going to drop down. And that's how you're going to sleep. Nice and comfy.
Mike uses his poncho as a fly sheet to keep the rain off of his hammock.
This is all you need to stay nice and dry. Protected from mosquitoes. Life in the jungle can be pretty good. Fire's a real important thing if you're out here surviving. It takes a little practice, but it can be done. First thing, I'm going to just lay down some leaves on the ground so I can put my tinder and all that and keep it kind of from getting wet. I'm scraping this little stick so that I can use these shavings to be my tinder. You can see they're very light, very fluffy, very dry, perfect for getting a fire started.
Mike uses a lighter to set the tinder on fire. Magnifying lenses can also start a fire by concentrating the sun's rays. But beneath the jungle canopy, there's often just not enough light. Carrying a lighter can be invaluable. Even survival experts find it difficult to start fires in the rainforest. It's just too damp. With the kindling burning, he'll add small twigs and then build the fire slowly, eventually adding logs to get a real blaze. To cook his food, he's built a simple grill.
Hopefully in a little while, we'll be munching down. The reason you want to cook things is not only does it taste better, but what it does is it makes sure that if there are any parasites or anything in the meat, you make sure that you kill them. That's good eating. So what I'm going to do is eat as much as I can tonight and get it in me.
Mike cooks more than he can eat, so he can take the leftovers with him and have something safe to eat over the next couple of days.
It's getting dark, so I'm getting ready to jump in the rack. I'm going to go ahead and leave my fire burning. Hopefully the smoke will keep away some of the insects and also discourage any big giant critters from coming and taking a look. All I'm doing is just making myself a nice little eye-poking stick just in case I do have a unpleasant encounter with a big cat in the middle of the night. But at least if I can poke him a little bit and let him know that this food fights back, hopefully he'll leave me alone and go and look for something else. Now that's nice and comfy. I'm gonna go ahead and take my boots off so my feet can air out tonight. Now this right here is 5-star Jungle Hotel sleeping.
E aí, o que achou? Vamos para as perguntas? Complete essas frases. In the jungle, you need to find a place to camp early because... Mike wants to camp close to the river, but not too close because... It's essential to carry a lighter because... Mike cooks food in the fire because... Pausa, anota as tuas respostas. Se tiver que voltar para assistir o vídeo de novo, volta, não tem problema nenhum, eu deixo. Aí depois de anotar as tuas respostas, vem aqui e compara com as minhas. Vamos lá? Ver as respostas? In the jungle, you need to find a place to camp early because you need to protect yourself from insects. Mike wants to camp close to the river, but not too close. There's a risk that the rain sweeps him into the river. Mike cooks food in the fire because the flavor is better, and it's safer to eat cooked food. It's essential to carry a lighter because it's the only way to easily light a fire in the jungle. E aí, conta pra mim quantas que você acertou. Como que foi esse nível pra ti? Foi bom, mais ou menos, sofrível? Agora o listening desse nível, que a gente vai entrar agora, já começa a englobar muitos daquilo que a gente chama de inglês autêntico, ou seja, é inglês que é da vida real, sabe? É o inglês que a gente vê em telejornais, podcasts, entrevistas. Na real, o vídeo anterior já foi assim, né? O que nós vamos ver agora é uma reportagem. Se liga aí.
The operator has received the details of the call. The line is busy. I'll call you.
The sights and sounds of office work from about 1950. The white-collar world has changed a lot since then, but in many ways the offices themselves have stayed the same. Long lines of employees, row after row of keyboards. Unless you work at Google, the company that specializes in searching may have found a new way to work. Havard Gould took a look.
It's an office that doesn't look like one. Free snacks. Free meals. In the gym, free weights. Plus, places to play music. And every other amenity they could think of.
What do you need a tent for?
You know what? This is actually a great space for the odd meeting or to just come back, kick back.
The trend in most workplaces is less space, privacy, cost.
A lot of organizations talk about healthy workplaces, but really they're trying to save money on real estate, in my opinion.
The workstations at Google's new Toronto office aren't huge, but with all the extras, the buy-in is.
Could you work in an ordinary office now?
This is pretty extraordinary.
Google won't say what all this costs, only that it's worth it.
We look at it as a long-term investment in our people. We want to be able to train them and hang on to them.
Google's strategy seems clear, not just keep workers happy, selling ads and coming up with new ways to make money, but keep them in the building, working long hours. It works.
We actually do take time and go play arcade for a little while and hang out, and it's usually during those times that you get an idea when you're meeting with someone from a different department or a different team.
While human resources experts say all this can increase productivity short term, they also warn the novelties can wear off. And over time, people still have to feel they are treated well individually.
You can set an office up any way you want. The things that really show up are recognition, feedback, opportunity for career advancement.
But if you could get that, who wouldn't want free lunches too? Problem is, Google isn't like most companies. It's flush with cash in a high-growth sector and battling for the best talent. Meaning, while this may look like the office of the future, it's not necessarily yours.
That's it, yeah, they're addictive, man. They're lovely.
Howard Gould, CBC News, Toronto.
E aí, conta pra mim o que tu achou dessa reportagem nos comentários. Foi fácil, médio ou difícil? Agora vamos pras perguntas, né? Eu vou te fazer as perguntas e você pode pausar ou pode voltar e assistir de novo o vídeo, sem problema. Aí anota as respostas e depois compara com as minhas, tá bom? The 10 they show can be used as... One of the reasons Google offers all these benefits to its workers is... According to Fab Dolan, recreational time. Human resources experts say that. Pensa aí e completa essas frases de acordo com aquilo que você conseguiu entender. Tanto a pergunta quanto o vídeo. Agora, vamos às respostas. The 10 they show can be used as a place where people can sometimes talk about work. One of the reasons Google offers all these benefits to its workers is to make them stay longer at work. According to Fab Dolan, recreational time is when you usually come up with ideas. Human resources experts say that all these perks aren't enough to make workers feel contented. Se acertou a maioria ou tudo, yeah! Congrats! É bem provável que você tenha nível C1 de listening. E aí, acertou quantas? Como você tá indo nos testes, hã? Precisa de mais ajuda? Se inscreve no Inglês 365, então. Lá eu te ajudo a ir do básico à fluência em inglês em 1 ano, com apenas 30 minutinhos por dia. Believe me. Você vai conseguir entender vídeos como esse que a gente acabou de ver, com o pé nas costas. Clica agora no link da descrição do vídeo e vem participar do meu curso de inglês. Vai ser uma honra ser tua teacher. Agora a gente vai para o nível mais avançado, que é o nível C2, ou proficiente. Deixa eu só te falar uma coisa. Muito provavelmente, se você fizer o teste com base no CFR, de português mesmo, tua língua mãe, talvez você não chegue no nível C2, tá? Só pra te avisar. Então,
ai, não consegui chegar, você
tá tudo bem, tá tudo tranquilo, tá? Não te apavora, porque esses testes, eu sei que eles são um pouquinho difíceis e tá tudo bem. Como eu falei, a maioria dos nativos falantes de inglês ficam ali entre B1 e C1 tops, entendeu? E agora a gente vai fazer um teste C2. Então, relaxa teu coração, respira fundo, leva numa nice o que a gente vai ver agora e não te cobra. Combinado? Esse trecho a seguir é como se fosse um simulado, ou mock test, como nós chamamos em inglês, de um exame da Cambridge, o mais avançado deles. Você vai notar que as pessoas falam bem rápido, com bastante fluidez, tá? E várias expressões idiomáticas. E como eu já falei, é o nível mais avançado da língua para quem está estudando o idioma. Pensa assim, eu demoro 1 ano para chegar até o nível C1, estudando 30 minutos por dia no inglês 365, tá? Que já é um nível fluente, já é considerado fluente. Aí eu quero ir para o C2, eu preciso do mesmo tempo, ou seja, 1 ano, mesmo tempo que eu levei para chegar até o C1, para chegar no C2. Então, 1 ano estudando 30 minutos por dia, me dedicando 30 minutos por dia, eu cheguei no C1. Esse mesmo 1 ano com a mesma dedicação diária de pura exposição ao idioma. Ou seja, tudo em inglês. Vídeo no YouTube, filme, série, exclusivamente em inglês, tá? Sem nem legenda, nada, zero. Pra daí eu conseguir fazer um teste pra provar que eu sou C2. Então, como eu falei, relaxa teu coração, fica na paz que tá tudo bem, tá? Esse teste eu vou fazer um pouquinho diferente. Eu vou colocar as perguntas na tela para que você vá procurando as respostas enquanto ouve. E você pode perfeitamente pausar o vídeo e ler as perguntas antes se quiser, não tem problema. Let's go!
Home may be a place of privacy and escape, but for some it is becoming less of a retreat and more of a place which people who come up with new jargon might term a multi-use environment. And now we have the scenario of the home being thrown open to the public as an art gallery or cinema or virtually anything one chooses really, as long as it is fun or edifying. To tell me about some examples of this, I'm joined by our arts correspondent, Jasmine Wright. Jasmine, it all sounds a bit strange to me.
Well, it can be financially rewarding, though letting strangers into your home does require nerve. For example, there's a guy called Johnny Morris. He's an artist and designer who lives in East London, and he's decided to open his home under the title Gallery Ezra to sell his and his friends' prints. He put a sign outside, opened the door, and attracted some of the Sunday morning pedestrians that seethe along the flower market on his doorstep.
Sounds a bit risky.
Yes, he told me that allowing the public into his home was not without its fraught aspects. He found it exhausting getting up early on a Sunday and having people walking around his flat with shopping bags. But he said that people were very well behaved and incredibly polite. His flatmate was less keen, apparently, and said he should have a rent reduction. But Johnny says that the venture was good for neighbourly relations and that it was such a financial success that he's going to open up again in spring.
Well, good luck to him. Now, who else is doing it?
There's a couple also in East London, Phoebe Tate and Gareth Harris, who've also opened a gallery in their house. It's called Made to Measure, named after the previous tenants who were tailors, and it consists of a small room at the front of the house, which they're using as dedicated exhibition space. They say they don't want a gallery as such. According to Phoebe, who used to be an art consultant, it's important that it's part of the house because their plan is, and I quote, to make art more domestic. She says that nowadays a lot of art is monumentally sized and made for museums, but that throughout history it has been made for homes.
Interesting idea. Do they get a lot of visitors?
Yes. The building itself is part of the attraction, and a lot of their visitors are fascinated by the house. They've had to put up private signs telling visitors where they cannot go. And while they stress that entrance is by appointment only, passers-by may come in if it's convenient.
Worth a visit, in your view?
Definitely. And they also use the exhibition room for talks. Gareth, who's a goldsmith and a guide at the Victoria and Albert Museum, delivers historic accounts of the area from time to time, which I understand are well worth hearing.
Now, is this a London thing, and is it always about art?
No, and no. The sharing of a fantasy world may also be part of the open house tendency. For example, well outside London, there's a couple, Norman and Valerie Illingworth, who've got a cinema in their garage, where invited guests can sit in genuine velvet cinema seats and watch a motorised curtain unfurl onto a programme of archive film material that includes cartoons, newsreels and adverts.
What a terrific idea. Tell me more.
Well, Norman, who's 74, wears evening dress, and Valerie, who's 56, acts as usherette, serving popcorn and ice cream during the screenings. The creation of the atmosphere is the main point for them, with many authentic effects, including a 35mm projector housed in the former coal cellar. The Illingworths, who both used to work in the cinema and retained a permanent interest, are simply pleased to be able to share their enthusiasm in the comfort of their own garage. Oh, the garage is known as the Picture Dome, and it's acquired a certain amount of local fame, despite the fact that screenings are not that frequent.
Fascinating. Well, thanks, Jasmine. So, if you'd like to open your house up for the public and you'd like to find out more...
O que você achou? É mais complicadinho, né? E agora eu vou colocar as respostas na tela. E agora, a pergunta que não quer calar e que eu quero ler nos comentários. Em que nível você acha que o seu listening tá? Bom, galera, esse foi o vídeo de encerramento dessa série de treinar o listening. E independente do seu nível, é de suma importância sempre continuar estudando, correndo, indo atrás mesmo. E eu tô aqui pra te ajudar. Conta sempre comigo. E se você gostar desse vídeo, dá um like, compartilha e lembra de te inscrever aqui no canal. See ya!